Hello, Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at you and your connection to the person you are needing to learn the most from right now for mid to end of April 2023. We're looking at all three sides of this connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and then this higher level unbiased truth in the middle, kind of being like, what is the purpose for this connection? What are you needing to learn from this connection? I do encourage you to think outside the box when it comes to these readings. This very well might not be talking about a romantic connection. This could be a friend, a family member, a coworker, a boss, anyone that you might be feeling triggered by, that you feel that there's a lesson to be learned from. So do keep that in mind. These energies also very well could be swapped. So you very well could resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, or vice versa if you're a cross watcher. So keep that in mind. And remember, this is a general reading, so take it as it resonates and leave what does not. The last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. All right, Gemini. On your side of this connection, you have potential gateway with the big picture. When you're able to zoom your perspective out about this connection, and that might be kind of challenging to do, but if you are able to, and if you've gotten to a point where you're able to kind of look at things from that 30,000 foot view, then you would see that this connection is actually an opportunity for you of some sort. This connection is opening some sort of door for you in your personal world, not just in this connection, but outside of this connection as well, with this potential gateway card. So it feels like it's like, I don't know, like it's giving you an opportunity that you wouldn't have without this connection being in your life. I don't know what that is yet. We'll see when we dive into tarot, but I do feel like this connection definitely has like something pretty specific attached to it in terms of like, not to sound cheesy, but like soul contract. Like there's a reason that you and this person have connected. Now this person has catch your breath with heighten your vitality. One of the first things that came out when this heighten your vitality card was pulled was that this card was actually got pulled in the Taurus reading as well for this side of the connection, which I always think is interesting when I'm dealing with 60 cards in a deck. And so I thought this, that was kind of interesting. If you're dealing with the Taurus, that very well could be a reading for you too, because this message is kind of similar to what that Taurus reading was saying, a little bit different, but similar, in the sense that this connection is pushing both of you to raise your vibration, to kind of level up here. Now, it's pushing you to level up in a way where I feel like it's like seeing your own worth and your own value and standing up for yourself and things like that. And it's pushing this person to level up in a way of learning to be vulnerable, learning to open up, learning not to need so much control over other people to be happy, things along those lines. Now, this person with this catch your breath card, it almost feels like they're like, this connection stresses them out. Now, I don't necessarily know if that's it's not like it just feels like it triggers them. It triggers them a lot. And when you're dealing with a connection that's forcing you to level up, it's going to be a very triggering connection no matter what. But I do feel like there's this kind of need to recognize that this connection is pushing both of you to kind of level up here. Now, I don't know. It just feels like this person is like, geez, Gemini. I don't know, not that they're like blaming you for anything. Maybe they are. I don't know. In between this connection though, and I really like this message, you are worth it with contemplation. The reason I like this message so much is because this connection is causing you to try to think about things from a place of seeing your worth. And those connections are always the toughest to deal with because, if a connection is teaching you your worth, a lot of times it mirrors to your lack of self-worth. So for instance, if you're dealing with not seeing that you are deserving of, not being abandoned or not being cheated on or whatever, not being betrayed or whatever the case is, a lot of times that connection will do the things that you are needing to see you are deserving of not having to experience. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's the case with this connection, but I do feel like this has been a very challenging connection for both of you. And I feel like it's overall kind of like, I don't know, like pushing you to grow. Yeah, like I said in the beginning, like pushing you to grow in a way that you never would have been able to without this connection. So let's see, though, what tarot has to say. Gemini, starting with your side of this connection. This is Gemini's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. This deck has been so strange today, even when I was doing the pre-shuffle. It says Gemini side of this connection. So I'm not quite sure what that energy is all about. Gemini side of this connection, please. This is Gemini side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Gemini side of this connection, please. Both in reverse. Okay. Ooh, okay. Six of Cups in reverse with a Strength in reverse. This is a lesson from your past that is coming back up. This connection is a repetition of a lesson that you've, I don't know if you, it's not necessarily that you didn't learn it the first time. It's just something from your past is coming back up, and it has to do with your sense of like confidence, like your sense of like knowing your worth, knowing what you're deserving of, and knowing that if someone doesn't show that to you, then they don't need to be in your life, and not being afraid of not having the people that don't treat you like you deserve in your life. Now, it's really interesting because it feels like you have a tendency in connections, Gemini, to, and it's both a good and bad quality to have, because it's like you want to make things work no matter what. But almost to the extent where that no matter what becomes a detriment to yourself. Where it's like, yes, you're loyal, yes, you're willing to kind of work through the hard times, but it also feels like that sometimes you can take that a little bit too far and try to fight for things that don't benefit you at all. It's almost like you get to the point where you're like fighting for something for the sake of fighting for it, because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do or what's necessary or something to that extent. Let's get more though for Gemini side of this connection. This is Gemini side of the connection to this person. It's like a lesson from your past is coming back up. Okay. There's that Strength in reverse again. I want more on this Strength in reverse because obviously I didn't get the full message. More on the Strength in reverse, please. See, this connection has a tendency to take away your sense of confidence. Yeah. So it like has it, because with the Seven of Cups here, it has a tendency to really I don't want to say confuse you, but like overwhelm you emotionally. Like it feels like it could be one of those energies where you have so much to say to this person, and then like when you get in front of them, you get like tongue tied and you can't say what you feel like you need to say. Now that's doesn't necessarily need to be the scenario, but it just feels like there's this level of this connection that really like, for some reason, it takes away your confidence. It makes you feel less confident. Now, that's kind of an interesting energy because it's almost like, because then you have the Seven of Pentacles. You tend to invest in things that make you feel this way. It's almost like this level of like, or people, certain people. Like it's almost like how do I say that? How do I put that into words? What is that energy? Like you tend to, I want more of the Seven of Pentacles. I'm trying to figure out how to say this in like the Sun in reverse and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, take this with a grain of salt, Gemini, because I really think this is going to be a good reading. But you tend to invest in things that it's like you hope that you can prove a certain part of yourself to that person. Like it's like you tend to invest in people that don't see you for who you are, that don't see your worth, that don't see your value, with the intention of like, but I can prove it to them. And I feel like this person in particular is someone that is kind of the manifestation of that. Now, oftentimes we do that when we feel like we need to be more in order to be accepted. We feel like we need to be more intelligent, more attractive, more successful, or whatever the case is, in order to be accepted for who we are. Now, this person, I feel like they have a tendency to really take away your, like I said, your confidence, because I don't feel like they see your full value. Let me get more for Gemini's side of this connection. But it's almost like that's why you have this you are worth it card. It's like being able to see your worth outside of how this person treats you. So you have the Four of Swords with the Chariot in reverse. And there's the Lovers in reverse. I want more on this Four of Swords first. Because this is basically saying, I mean, with the Lovers in reverse here, this is straight up, these two cards too are kind of giving me very similar vibes. It's like, this connection really is, it's like testing your sense of self-worth. Clarifying this Four of Swords for Gemini. This connection makes you feel really outside of your comfort zone. But remember, it's pushing you to grow in some way, shape, or form. There's like a reason for it, because it feels like you're so used to maybe investing in connections that don't see your worth, feeling like you need to prove your worth. That's what I was kind of trying to say with that last message. And it feels like this is about learning that the connections that are supposed to be in your life, and I can absolutely promise you this, they see you for who you are without you needing to be anything more than that in order to feel loved and accepted. And I feel like this connection, for whatever reason, it pokes at that sense of self-worth and almost makes you feel like you have to prove yourself. Like there's a part of you that feels like it's like if they could just see this part of me, then they'd see my worth. Not even necessarily because you want them, like because you want to be with them, or because like, but it's almost like they just like I kind of get the energy, and this doesn't necessarily need to be the case of like a boss. Like you feel like you need to prove yourself to them, and not a boss. It's like, okay, placing this person on a pedestal. That's what's trying to come through here. I mean, I feel like I've said so many different things, but it's hard to. I feel like my throat chakra is all kinds of tongue tied. Kind of like what I was saying about what this person does to you. Apparently, this energy does the same thing to me. All right, Gemini's side of this connection. Gemini's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Because, yeah, this person makes you feel like really not, they don't make you feel accepted, seen, or heard. It makes it, this person, this energy makes you feel like you need to prove yourself. Like that's ultimately what I'm getting here. You have the High Priestess with the Three of Cups. Let me get more. What? No. Hate when this happens. I'm going to want to reshuffle those. But you have this High Priestess here, which means that your higher self is speaking to you about this connection, through this connection in particular. There's that Eight of Pentacles again. I want more on this High Priestess. This table is so high, and I am so sore right now, so that was a struggle. All right, let me clarify this High Priestess. Clarifying this High Priestess for Gemini, please. The Hermit in reverse. See, yeah, this connection, it actually makes you feel like more alone. Like it's like it makes you feel isolated, or like I don't want to say insecure, but I do. I feel like it, like maybe this person has a tendency to like poke at your insecurities, or either way, this connection brings those to the surface. And it does that because your intuition is trying to get you to see. It's almost like there's a part of you that's looking. There's a part of you that's craving acceptance through this connection in some way, shape, or form. Now, we all do that. And we typically do it with the people that don't accept us the most. Is it's like, instead of being like, oh, well, they're lost, and kind of like moving on with your life, it's like, well, why the hell doesn't this person see my worth? And so that's nothing like wrong that you're doing. But remember, this is a lesson from your past. This is something that I feel like you possibly have dealt with your whole life, Gemini. This is Gemini's side of this connection. And this connection, this energy really triggers this in you. This is Gemini's side of this connection, please. Because remember, you have this big picture with Gateway Death card. Whoa. What? And the King of Cups in reverse. I think this connection is like over and done. Okay, hang on. Before I say that, because I don't like saying this in readings, the death of the King of Cups in reverse, because this person did not treat you well, Gemini. And I feel like there is a part of you that took that very personally, because why wouldn't you? You're a human being. But it's almost like learning that when people don't treat you well, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you or your worth, and everything to do with them. And I feel like a lot of this is why the universe is asking you to look at this in a bigger picture scale. You have the death of the King of Cups in reverse, clarifying this message. Yeah, Gemini, you have a tendency to invest in these kinds of connections. I almost feel like it's that chasing emotional unavailability thing. Because this can be someone that is emotionally unavailable with the King of Cups in reverse. And I feel like it's almost like that's what this connection is trying to put an ending to. Because a part of you, it's like that energy of like, maybe for me, they'll change. And we all fall into that. It's so, it's so common. And I see it in like relationship after relationship. And I did it in my own personal life for a while. And there was one connection in particular that straight up ended that cycle for me. And it's because you realize like, okay, they hurt so bad. That cycle hurts so bad of like trying to prove your worth to someone who is emotionally unavailable and therefore unable to see it because they don't see their own worth. And realizing when you're not able to do that, feeling like broken about it, because it's that level of like feeling that lack of like self-worth within yourself. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like this connection, it really poked at this part of you that looks for love and acceptance from people that aren't willing or able to give it to you. Now, at the same time, that typically stems from childhood. For instance, I know, and this is a lot of information, but I know that I had a tendency to chase after emotionally unavailable individuals because of my father being emotionally unavailable. And you can look at from it, that doesn't always, classic daddy issues doesn't always have to be the answer. But what I'm getting at here is there's always something from your past that gives insight into why you look for certain things in people. Now, I feel like I'm talking a lot of big picture here. I'm not necessarily talking so much about this connection, and I feel like that's intentional because you have big picture here. Because this really is this energy of needing to stop investing in people that don't invest in you in the same exact kind of way. And it's funny now, like being in my current relationship, how like it's like laughable thinking about the people that I used to think I wanted to be with, the emotionally unavailable individuals that, I would kind of chase after. All right, Gemini side of this connection. Last one there it is. See, you have there's limiting beliefs about what you want, because it's like, okay, there's healing that's needed. There's a new beginning available, but it's almost like you're not seeing like, okay, so many messages are coming through. You're not seeing what's possible for you. in love and in connections of any sort. Because we chase after emotionally unavailability in friends too, acceptance and partners and business. Like it goes, it doesn't just have to be romantic, but it's almost like you have these limiting beliefs that keep you focused on thinking that connections of this sort are what you want. Clarifying this Eight of Swords with the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like you have your heart closed off to anything new with this Queen of Swords in reverse and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Now, I will say, like, just kind of talking about my own personal situation, just because I feel like I can relate to this reading in a certain way. Not that all paths are the same by any means, but when I dealt with like that, the biggest emotionally, the emotional, unavailable, karmic, toxic relationship that I was in, when I finally was able to shut the door, move on, and I started like getting back out there and dating again, I watched him appear in other people. And I started like from the beginning, I'd be like, man, this feels familiar. This person, they keep me guessing. They're leaving me wondering if, how they feel about me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, are they going to get back to me? Am I going to get a text back? Or, and that feeling of like, that I call it that awful feeling. I talk to my current partner about it all the time because I'm like, I just like when you meet the people that are meant to be in your life, there's no second guessing. They make you feel loved, they make you feel understood, they make it very clear how they feel about you, and it's very just like easy. It's challenging, but it's easy. That makes sense. And I feel like this is about realizing that you don't ever have to like feel that way. You don't have to feel like your worth is in question. You don't have to feel like you're wondering where you stand all the time. And I feel like this connection in particular has a tendency of making you feel that way, like making you second guess your worth and your value and your like lovableness. And you don't deserve that. You just don't. And I feel like this connection is giving you the opportunity to heal the belief that that is what you deserve. That, or not even deserve, but that's like a necessary aspect um of connections. This is a very interesting reading, so I hope there's someone out there that's bearing with me. All right, this is the person that Gemini is dealing with, side of the connection of Gemini. Catch your breath with heighten your vitality. This is this person's energy toward Gemini, please. Yeah, this person is leaving you guessing here. Like, I feel like they are like either are currently or did when this connection was, because you have this death card again. It feels like they're never clear with you or upfront with you about how they feel and where they stand. Like they leave you guessing. Now I feel like a part of that is probably because they struggle with vulnerability. Because they're at a crossroads when it comes to this connection. They don't really know what to do. Maybe that's why they have this catch your breath card. They don't really know what to do about it. Because I feel like you took on a lot of this person's emotional burden, which is usually what emotionally unavailable people do. And I feel like it's almost like they see the value in the fact that of having you in their life, not because of who you are, but because of what you did for them. And I feel like that's a big indicator, and that's a big indicator of like, you want to make sure that someone sees your value for who you are, not for what you do. And again, not like how intelligent you are, how attractive you are, but just like for your heart, for your soul, for who you are, as a person. And there might be a part of you that doesn't believe that that kind of connection exists. And so you feel like you do have to prove yourself. And I feel like this person almost makes you. It's like they make you prove yourself to them in a way. This person's energy toward Gemini, please. This person's energy toward Gemini. See, there's that King of Pentacles. Granted, we saw that King of Cups too, but this is definitely their energy. Ace of Wands with the Seven of Cups in reverse. This person doesn't know, okay, there's a big difference between genuine connection and infatuation, right? We all have to learn that at some point in our life. This is a long reading. Jeez, I just realized I'm 25 minutes in already. And this person doesn't know the difference between that. They don't know the difference between like infatuation and like genuine connection. I feel like you're like, well, we had a genuine connection. And this person is like, well, you can, it's almost like the infatuation or like the initial attraction, like that emotional high you get at the beginning of relationships. Like that's all that they really prioritize. And so I feel like that isn't, ultimately that's not fair for you, because then maybe I feel like they backed off, or there could have been cheating involved. I'm not saying that I see that. Or like just kind of like didn't see your worth as much whenever they got to a certain point. And it's because they don't know that difference between genuine emotional connection and like infatuation. That's the best word to put it. This person's energy toward Gemini, and that is literally, that has nothing to do with you. And it's we'll get more. I feel like we'll get to the bottom of this person's problem. They want forgiveness. I don't think they just want forgiveness. I feel like they think they deserve forgiveness. And a lot of that is because I bet that they have a hard time being honest about their guilt. And so they're like, I just don't understand why Gemini can't just forgive me. Like, wasn't that big of a deal? Or like they downplay. That's another thing that I kind of felt like they downplay your feelings. They they're very dismissive of the way you feel. Like you could have at some point been like, hey, I don't really know where I stand with you and I'd like to, whatever. And they're like, oh, you ask for too much, or something like that. Like, I don't know. But I feel like they want this forgiveness here, but not necessarily because they feel, it's because they don't know how to face their guilt. All right, this person's energy toward Gemini. They don't know how to face their guilt here. Remember, they need to raise their vibration. They are at a pretty low vibe here. All right, this person's energy toward Gemini. And that's on them. That has nothing to do with you. It's like, if this person can help you raise your vibration and see your worth and take your power back, you're the one who's going to be living well, right? This person's going to be dealing with the same stuff over and over again, because they're obviously not like learning from their cycles. They're kind of just like repeating the same ones over and over again. Emperor in reverse with the Ace of Swords. This person has controlling tendencies. I feel like, and oftentimes that's because they don't know how to let people get close, So I'm not saying this person's like a master manipulator. They very well could be. But I feel like they need to have control over the people around them, because if they don't, they themselves feel out of control. They don't know how to control themselves, so they control everyone around them. And I feel like this, like I talk about all of this stuff because what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to talk bad about this person. I'm not trying to say they're a bad person or anything like that. Maybe you think that, but what I'm trying to get at is the way that their energy makes you feel about yourself. Not deserving, not lovable, not good enough. Like all of that has literally nothing to do with you. And I feel like that is a really big lesson that this reading is trying to pull through. Is it's trying to say, look at the bigger picture. The universe is trying to say, look at this bigger picture here. This is about their energy toward you and nothing to do with the truth of who you actually are as a person and what it is that you actually are deserving of. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt any less, right? But at least understanding that on some level can help you like see that, okay, this energy is just a test for me. It's not a truth. It's a lesson, right? This person's energy toward Gemini. I really want you to level up here. I really think you can level up here, Gemini. And I think what you eventually, when you can see that this connection is giving you the opportunity to do that, what it's doing is it's allowing you to raise your vibration to then be a vibrational match for whoever it is that you do deserve, right? So it's actually opening a door for you to have deeper, more meaningful connections. All right, this person's energy toward Gemini, please. Ooh, okay. They see you as a very nurturing, very loving, kind energy. But that also is like a stressful thing for them. Like I feel like it's like they don't know how to accept it. If they don't know how to give love, they certainly don't know how to accept it. So that's why it triggers them so deeply. It kind of cracks them open. And I feel like you very well could be a mirror for them too. Kind of showing them like where their downfalls are, like what. And that's why it's hard for them to face that guilt. Because I feel like you brought a lot of their own shortcomings, if you will, to the surface, just as much as they brought yours to the surface. Now, I feel like they brought yours to the surface, your insecurities and all that to the surface because they didn't know how to face theirs. So again, it has nothing to do with you, and everything to do with their inability here to give and receive love. And that, Geminis, or anyone that's in this reading and feels like that resonates with you, is not your freaking problem. It is not your problem or your fault that this person has no idea how to give and receive genuine love. In fact, all that's trying to teach you is that these types of people are not worthy of you. It's not about, am I deserving of them? Am I good enough for them? It's, are they good enough for me? Can they meet me on my level? It doesn't mean that you are better than them or superior or anything like that, but you can say, sorry, you don't have the emotional wherewithal, the emotional intelligence, the ability to communicate, the ability to, be able to have an intimate connection. Doesn't just, intimacy isn't just about romance, but it's like you, when you can learn that, when you face these kinds of people, because they all feel the same, they all kind of have the same patterns, they walk around with the same energy, and when you can realize like, okay, no, I know who you are, you can run the other way and go, open yourself up for better connection. So when I sit here and saying, oh, this person's controlling, they don't know how to accept intimacy, they don't know the difference between genuine emotional connection and infatuation, like that has nothing to do with you. In fact, these are red flags. This is red flag written all over this energy here. And I feel like it's kind of this need to like open yourself up to realize, okay, what part of me is still looking for, why do I feel like I need this person to see my worth? What within me am I, what about my, oh, just got so nervous, I thought that was off. What about my worth am I not seeing that I am needing this person to see in me in order to feel lovable? Because that will help you be able to separate yourself from the connection. This person's energy toward Gemini. One more for this person's energy toward Gemini. Gemini, this person is unstable. They don't got it. The Four of Wands in reverse, the King of Wands, the Hierophant, and the King of Cups in reverse. They there might be a little bit of I can fix them in this, Gemini. A little bit of like, yeah, I know they have all these things, I know they have all these shortcomings, but they have a lot of really good qualities too, or like, but they have a lot of potential. The potential of somebody is someone who does not exist. It's actually really funny because when I was dealing with my, I don't even know what to call it anymore, toxic karmic connection, whatever. It was the one that woke me up, the one who put me on a spiritual path, the one who taught me my worth, and the one who absolutely destroyed my soul. When I was dealing with that, I saw the potential of this man, and I was like, wow, he could be so much better than he is right now. He could be kind and loving and genuine and successful in so many different ways, but he didn't see that in himself. Now, he loved his ego. He loved who he portrayed himself to be. He loved all those things about himself, but he didn't really love himself. And I fell in love with this man's potential. And the potential of this person became the person that I fought so hard for, even after the connection was over. Is I was like, oh, if he could just heal, if he could just heal, if he would just go to freaking therapy. We have so much potential. Things could be so good. Like I saw that in him. And eventually I learned that someone's potential is a person that does not exist. Loving someone for who they could be is loving someone that literally does not exist. Now, when I met my current partner, who I absolutely believe the love of my life, literally like perfect match on all levels, it's kind of creepy. Um, I realized because he was so familiar when we met, and things like moved so quickly, but not in like a forced way. It's like things just kind of like naturally progressed, and it was so smooth. And I realized that he was the manifestation of the potential that I saw in this other person. So, what I'm getting at is if you see the potential of someone, understand that that is not saying that that person is the only person that can make you happy. What that is saying is you now have a picture in your mind of what it is that you deserve, and therefore go out and get it. Because that person, even if they don't exist within that person, they're somewhere out there, and what you deserve in love in any kind of form is available to you. You just have to be open to receiving it in a form that is different than whatever it is you're currently connected to, if that makes sense. And it's funny because it's like I seriously, I think back to that connection. I mean, guys, I was obsessed with this connection. Like, I literally was like, I'm never gonna be happy if it's not with this person. Like, seriously, I really thought my life was like over whenever I realized that connection was never gonna happen for me. But then I met my current partner, and it's like it's so comical now thinking back on that and being like, why the hell did I waste so much time on this connection that did not deserve my time and energy, when now I have this like wonderful, amazing man that I get to share my life with that I could have freaking met so long ago, you know? So open your heart up to realizing that what you deserve is absolutely possible. And if this person didn't show it to you, then that was just the universe redirecting you to the person that will. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended, even though this has already been a 40-minute long reading. We're going to hop on over to the extended where I'm going to clarify this contemplation and you are worth it. We'll pull 9 different messages, and then I have an advice card to pull at the end. Thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for the support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.